Good morning. I hope some of the birds' beautiful song will make its way into this recording. All right, so even before I finished my cup of coffee this morning, I found myself journaling. And so rather than read another one to you from an earlier day, this is 3/27/2011. First journal of the day, and the Mayan day is 6 Serpent. And this is a bit of an odd one. It's called Heart Vision and the Table in Heart, being for or against anything. Oh, these lights are such a glare. Okay, here we go. It has been an extremely heavy time, to say the least. So, if you've had some difficulties recently, cut yourself some major slack for that. You couldn't help it. With this many cycles converging on the one hand, and time getting so short for the bad guys and them knowing it on the other, well, that packs quite a punch. It's as if everything has it in for us right now, in a way. Earth is fed up with the rule of the dark ones and how so many of the light beings have been under the sway of this dark, evil spell. Heaven is fed up with the way things have been so long as well, I'm a-thinking. So earth and heaven together seem to figure that the way to best and most quickly deal with this is to unleash the dark karma, rather than holding so much of it in abeyance as they have been. Earth and heaven have been mighty patient, folks. Surely we can all see this. You'd better believe we've been under the reign of mercy for so long as well, my friends. Rather than have our karma turn right around and either pop us in the face or kiss us, the good karma, we've had the mercy of time and long cycles to get it together. Yet, like all things, time can be used or misused. Things are neither good nor bad in themselves. It depends on the use of them. It's like the silly argument that because guns kill people, we should outlaw guns. So then, since cars kill many more people, multiples of people, the people killed by guns, let's outlaw cars. That's the same logic that's being used there. Can you see it? Now, be in heart with this, since within head you may have fallen under the trance of it yourself. There's a real hypnosis that's gone on, and the people have been mightily messed with, shall we say. It's a fact. We've been terrorized endlessly, and if that wasn't enough, and for the dark side, there's no such thing as enough, we've been manipulated and controlled in ways too numerous to count, or so it seems. So, waking up from this, while it's actually quite simple as the walk from the head to the heart, will seem rather strange. We've been fed all kinds of lies and abuses of logic, like the above. My friends, guns don't kill people. People kill people. How could we not see that? In our terror at facing the reality that you just can't legislate morality, it won't work. It's never worked. So we thought to legislate the things of this life. We thought we could come in the back door that way. Well, look around you and see how well that strategy worked. Pretty dismal overall. We just don't want to be controlled, not by anything, And eventually that will out. You just can't keep us down. Not forever, anyway. Now, a number of you are still rattling around in your head about guns killing people, your belief in that, or something else there. Let's take a minute to lay out something so tremendously simple you'll be amazed. Are you ready? This one will really simplify life for you if you will let it. Okay, let's go. Take a look now at absolutely everything in your head that you are either for or against, and put it down on the table in front of you, there in your heart. Yes, you're seated in heart, remember? Okay, all the pluses, all the minuses, it doesn't matter. All the things you so passionately believe for or against, lay them on the table there. There's plenty of room. Like everything else in heart, it's a magical table. Now, if you'll look closely, there are certain similarities in the energy of all the plus or for things. Same with all the against ones. They carry a certain vibration of energy. And now, if you're in heart, you may also notice that each one of those things is but half of a polarity. They're missing their other half. But, and you must look closely for this, heart vision, it's there in shadow. There's a shadowy image there of the opposite polarity of each one of them. If you're for, there's a shadowy against. If you're against, there's a shadowy for. Shadowy but present, there on the heart table. It's filmy or hazy perhaps, but it's present. Would you like to know why this is? Why is it that all of the positions that you've taken seem to have opposite positions there on the heart table? And stay in your heart for this, for your heart already knows. Let's see if it gave you the answer that's forthcoming here. It's because, seen from heart perspective, everything is whole and complete. Nothing incomplete or imperfect makes it in here, and that's for certain. And that's why you often hear me say, there's no fear, there's no judgment, things like that. None of it in heart. No ego either. They simply can't enter. This is sacred space. Now, another way to view this is that you're in higher dimension or dimensions here. Viewed from a higher perspective or frequency, things are just not polarized. The duality, though still present, is here in its wholeness, both sides of the coin. No one-sided things make it in here. One-sided things are incomplete. Now, what is that simple thing I was going to show you? You may have locked onto it already. Remember, my heart has nothing on your heart. All hearts are one. Still, what is it that with every position, excuse me, is it what or why? No. What is it that with every position you take, you've allowed yourself to be polarized, to settle for only half of the whole? What's with that? Thus, it can be seen, stay in heart, that by taking any position on anything, you are settling for incompleteness. Let that sink in. Don't try to go anywhere else with it. Just be with what is right here, right now. There's nothing wrong with this incompleteness. I'm not saying that. I too take positions on various things. We're meant to do that here in 3D. But let the trick be that you take a position that's as complete as possible. What does that look like? Heck, I don't know. Let's find out here in the flow. A complete or whole position is not against any part of life. It is for something. That's a start. Like being for a man's right to defend not just his home and his life, but to have the right and the power to take his country back from a corrupt, out-of-control government. That's what the Second Amendment is for. If you do your research, you'll discover this. It's solid. It's to keep the government in line that we were given the right to bear arms. And not just a militia, every one of us. They try to trick us, my friends. Go do your homework. So, of course, they want to take it from us, this right. The right and the power to do that. And they, of course, want us ignorant of our own country's founding, of the reasons for things, the amendments, etc. Okay, I'm still feeling polarization here. So I have a request. Can you simply let go of that for now, at least long enough to enjoy the rest of this journal? Let the head stuff go. Enter heart. Let's look at the completeness, the wholeness that's possible there. If not, click away, since I have nothing to offer the mind here. This is only heart understanding. Mind takes a much more limited perspective on everything. Now, peaceful non-compliance is another example of being for something, in a funny way, and against nothing. Now stay in heart to see it that way. We are not against those things where we use this tactic. Rather, we are simply for the right to have life be reasonable, ethical, and right. And so we refuse to pay homage to the bureaucracy and its rules, its laws, its out-of-control bureaucrats, most of which are based on just corporate codes and not in the real law anyway. All these codes are made-up stuff. People often get polarized around Mother Earth and ecology. We find all sorts of things to take sides on, and we can all call several of them to mind. Remember people living in trees, for instance, so they wouldn't be cut down? I, for one, so love the whales and the dolphins that it tears me apart to see the way they are hunted and treated, as if they were worth literally nothing, just a nuisance. Well, let's take a look at a heart look at that and see what the difference is. Rather than separate out into duality, go head to head on things, let's look at what we are for here. We are for the best and most loving treatment of the earth and all of the beings, both plant and animal, that share our home with us, that live on the earth. We can be for that, and we can find ways to be peacefully non-compliant with its abuse without being against anyone or anything. You'll find that's a more reasonable stance, one that has the chance to do the most good. The dark forces love nothing better than to pit brother against brother regarding anything. That's one of their main strategies. We have to get wise to this, and we are. Look at us linking up here on the internet. It's important. We can't let ourselves be manipulated like this any longer. We're all waking up. And this is a part of that. We've got new eyes to see with. I call it heart vision. Next, just a nuance, but it won't seem that way at first. Let's look at one of the absolute worst offenders against us and the earth. That would be Monsanto, without a doubt. I don't need to convince anyone of the multitudinous crimes against life and humanity practiced by this company. So, most of us would say we're against Monsanto and the ones that control it. Well, let's take a look at that. Let's recognize something. We're not against the people. We're against the actions of people. We'd have no issue with these same people if they weren't doing such horrible things, right? Can you see that? So it's really not the people we're after here. Okay, stay centered in heart. I feel some of you pulling out into head again. That would be the ones best educated on Monsanto's crimes, no doubt. The mind can't do the work we're undertaking here, though. It just can't. It isn't constructed for it. And this isn't the time to explain that, so just come back to your heart, settle in. So, if those Monsanto people would just be reasonable, would listen to us, and would behave with reverence for life, we would have no problem with any of them. Now, this should be obvious unless you're so polarized that your mind won't let you see it. Or unless you're in the head right now. Take this example then. Let's say you go to the store and your little 3-year-old there in the checkout line manages to steal a candy bar with no one seeing, or something else tempting there that they place all around you in line while you wait. Now, you don't see him do this until when you get home, you notice him with his ill-gotten booty. How do you handle this? You don't brand your child. Well, no, this is the way I've written it. Do you brand your child a thief? Scold him harshly, saying, "Bad boy, you're a thief, and that's wrong." Well, some parents would do this, but let's look again. Many parents would be able to separate out the action from the actor here. They would brand the action as wrong, not the child. The child is not bad. The child's action is wrong, not the boy. Pretty much none of us have been brought up right, friends. Our whole school system is faulty and flawed, as it was in our parents' and their parents' and their parents' day. We chose the Kinder way instead of Montessori for education. Montessori separates out the actor from the action. We never want to go against people, my friends, and to brand them in horrible ways. It's their actions to which we object, and rightly so, not their person. By being polarized this way, we're not allowing for the wholeness that's there, at least in potential, in every position. Remember our positions and how they look there on the table in heart? Well, people too are like these positions. They contain both sides. They're nothing we want to oppose, or we get in the duality dance with them and go back and forth with it. Instead, we want to help them and ourselves into our fullness, our wholeness, to see and to take the highest way possible which is the highest way visible. It first has to be seen. And yes, seeing is doing. Okay, this has been a bit of a tour of heart vision, seeing it applied. We've seen how it is possible to take the very things of our everyday lives, those where we're most polarized, and make room for the wholeness that's there in potential. I hope you've seen, too, how the dark force has contorted our vision to turn us against one another. That's inadequate seeing, that's all. And it's no big deal. Things like that can be healed on the instant when they're seen. You may have experienced some healing yourself here. That is my hope. Let us look with new eyes on the world, my dear friends. It is what we make it. It's not the horrible place you may be seeing when you look at it through eyes of mind. It's mind that is polarized, has dual vision, not the heart. The joy and the beauty here is that everyone alive has their very own heart. Thus, this new way of seeing is available to all. They just have to awaken to it in their own time. I'll close with one other piece of mind vision. Another piece of twisted logic is that in use by the dark side that says this: let's do evil that good may come. Now I forget the original way this is written, but it is an exercise in logic. In other words, would you kill 10,000 to save 10 million? Now, of course, they don't word it like that, but that's the essence of it. Anytime, anywhere, we are being encouraged to do something that is not right, not ethical, that we don't feel good about, just so some supposed future good can come out of it, let's take a big pause there and go into heart with that. Anyway, I wish these things were so simple I could just lay them all out in a nice, neat little list for you. But it doesn't work like that. You know why? Are you in heart? It's like Jesus' answer to Pilate's question, what is truth? There's no way to answer that. Not here in 3D. Not an answer the mind could accept or grasp. Truth is a higher thing, not native to 3D. Well, heart is a higher thing, not native to 3D. Or rather, not complete, only in 3D. For heart crosses and bridges all boundaries. It recognizes none of them. It's a good place for rebels like us. Heart is simply transcendent. Thus, you can't use the mind's logic to rule even on something like doing evil that good may come. Anytime you try to generalize, it'll be wrong. Now, here's the funny part. Didn't I just generalize there? Oh, my friends. If you'll just back off and not take things so darn seriously, disidentify from it, you'll find that life is really a hoot. It's a great joy, a grand adventure, a really fine one, but it's all a matter of what perspective you take, which one you choose. Now, my suggestion, of course, is to choose heart vision. That's the best, the finest, the most complete perspective I can find, at least so far. So, may you be blessed infinitely in coming into your own heart vision. It's the best. There's none finer. No one has the monopoly on this, unless it be the one, the whole that we all are. And in that case, yes, there's a monopoly, the only good one. Welcome home into your place in that. No one owns it more than you do. Be the king, the queen, be the sovereign that you are. No longer dictated to nor led about by false logic. Let heart decide and discern. Good day.